Relationships are a complex tapestry of emotions, trust, and sometimes a little bit of deceit. It's that delicate balance of love and vulnerability that makes us human. But when you start to feel that something is off, that nagging feeling in the pit of your stomach, it can lead you down a rabbit hole of suspicion and fear. You start to notice things, little signs that might just be your imagination running wild, or perhaps the reality you're too afraid to confront. So let's talk about those signs, those subtle shifts in behavior that might indicate your woman is sleeping with another man. First, there's the change in communication. You used to share everything, every little detail of your day, but now it feels like you're pulling teeth just to get her to talk. She's suddenly busy, preoccupied, her phone buzzing with messages she hastily dismisses. You might catch her glancing at her screen, a smile creeping onto her face that's not meant for you. It's that secretive smile, the kind that makes your heart sink because you know it's not for you. And when you ask her about it, she brushes it off, claiming it's just work or a group chat. But deep down, you can't shake the feeling that there's someone else on the other end of that screen, someone who's capturing her attention in ways you no longer can. Then there's the sudden shift in her appearance. She starts dressing differently, putting in more effort than she ever did before. The casual sweats and oversized tees are replaced by form-fitting dresses and stylish outfits that scream confidence. You find yourself wondering if she's trying to impress someone else. Maybe it's just a phase, a newfound sense of self, but the timing feels suspicious. You can't help but think that she's dressing up for someone who isn't you. And when you compliment her, she brushes it off, saying it's just a new style she's trying out. But you can see it in her eyes. There's a spark there that wasn't there before, a thrill that seems to come from somewhere outside of your relationship. Next, consider the intimacy, or lack thereof. The passionate kisses that used to linger are now quick pecks, and the nights that were once filled with warmth and closeness have turned into cold, distant encounters. You might find yourself lying next to her, feeling like you're in a different world, a world where she's miles away. The intimacy that once defined your relationship feels like a distant memory, replaced by an awkward silence that hangs in the air. You try to initiate closeness, but she seems disinterested, distracted, her mind elsewhere. It's as if she's saving her affection for someone else, someone who's igniting a fire in her that you can no longer reach. And then there's the secrecy surrounding her phone. It's not just the messages. It's the way she guards her phone, like it's a treasure chest filled with secrets. She suddenly has a password you've never seen before, and when you ask her about it, she brushes it off as a precaution. But you can't help but feel that it's more than that. You notice her taking her phone with her everywhere, even to the bathroom, and you start to wonder what she's hiding. It's the little things, like the way she jumps when you walk into the room while she's texting, or how she quickly switches apps when you glance over her shoulder. It's a dance of deception, and you're left feeling like an outsider in your own relationship. Let's not forget the change in her social life. She starts going out more, claiming it's just a girls' night or a work event. But the frequency of these outings raises a red flag. You used to be her go-to for everything, but now it feels like she's seeking excitement elsewhere. The late nights, the unexplained absences, the vague stories about who she was with, it all adds up to a narrative that doesn't quite sit right. You try to be supportive, to trust her, but the more she goes out, the more you feel like you're losing her to someone else. It's a painful realization, watching her slip away, and you're left wondering if she's finding joy in the arms of another man. And what about the little lies? You start to notice the inconsistencies in her stories, the way she stumbles over details that should be easy to remember. She claims she was at a friend's house, but then you hear from that friend that she never showed up. It's the small things, the white lies that start to pile up, creating a wall of doubt between you. You want to confront her, to ask her what's going on, but you fear the answer. It's easier to ignore the signs, to pretend everything is fine, but deep down, you know that the truth is lurking just beneath the surface. Another sign is her sudden interest in new hobbies or activities. She starts taking classes, joining clubs, or picking up new skills that she never expressed interest in before. At first, it seems like a positive change, a way for her to grow and explore. But then you realize that these new pursuits often take her away from home, leaving you alone with your thoughts. You can't help but wonder if she's using these activities as a cover, a way to escape the reality of your relationship and find solace in someone else's arms. It's a painful thought, watching her chase after new passions while you're left in the shadows, feeling like a spectator in your own life. And let's talk about the emotional distance. You used to share your dreams, your fears, your hopes for the future, but now it feels like she's built a wall around her heart. She's closed off, reluctant to share her thoughts or feelings, and when you try to connect, she deflects, changing the subject or brushing you off. It's as if she's protecting herself from you, guarding her emotions like a fortress. You start to wonder if she's confiding in someone else, someone who's filling the void you once occupied. The intimacy you once shared feels like a fading memory, replaced by a chasm of silence that grows wider with each passing day. Then there's the change in her priorities. You used to be her number one, the person she turned to for support and love. But now, it feels like you're competing for her attention against a myriad of other commitments. She's suddenly busy with work, friends, and activities that leave little room for you. You try to be understanding, to give her space, but the more she pulls away, the more you feel like you're losing her. It's a painful realization, watching her prioritize everything else over your relationship, and you can't help but wonder if someone else has taken your place in her heart. And what about the gut feeling? You know that instinct, that nagging voice in the back of your mind that tells you something isn't right. It's that feeling that keeps you up at night, replaying moments in your head, searching for clues that might confirm your fears. You try to rationalize it, to convince yourself that you're being paranoid, but deep down, you know that your intuition is trying to tell you something. It's a powerful force, that gut feeling, and it often knows things that your mind refuses to accept. You find yourself torn between wanting to trust her and the overwhelming urge to confront the truth, whatever that may be. And finally, there's the change in her affection towards you. The little gestures that once made you feel loved and cherished have become scarce. The sweet texts, the spontaneous kisses, the moments of tenderness have been replaced by indifference. You start to feel like a stranger in your own home, longing for the connection you once shared. You try to initiate affection, to remind her of the love you have, but it feels like you're reaching for something that's slipping through your fingers. It's a heartbreaking realization, watching her pull away, and you can't help but wonder if she's saving her love for someone else. So, what do you do with all of this? How do you confront the possibility that the woman you love might be sleeping with another man? It's a terrifying thought, one that can shatter your world in an instant. You want to believe in her, to trust her, but the signs are there, whispering doubts into your mind. You find yourself standing at a crossroads, torn between the desire for truth and the fear of what that truth might reveal. It's a painful journey, navigating the complexities of love and betrayal, and you can only hope that in the end, you'll find the clarity you seek. In the end, it's about more than just the signs. It's about the love you once shared, the dreams you built together, and the hope that maybe, just maybe, you can find your way back to each other. But as you sift through the evidence, the little clues that point to infidelity, you can't help but wonder if the love you once knew is worth fighting for, or if it's time to let go and move on. It's a heart-wrenching decision, one that will shape the course of your life, and all you can do is take a deep breath and prepare for whatever comes next.